brought to us by Joe Biden and Kamala
Not
Harris.
true.
It is very
Not
true.
true.
Even Larry Summers said it. You can
Not
interrupt
true.
all you want, but it's the facts. I was in the House. You were not. I know exactly what happened.
I know what you were doing in the House,
But again, I'm gonna move on.
I know what you were doing in the House. You ain't talking about the House of Representatives. You talking about the House. Hi, my name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page, and a warm welcome to all my brand new members. More on that later on in the video. Now, y'all heard what Trump said.
The liberal left wants to destroy him, and they want to destroy our country. Now, if you had one really violent day, like a guy like Mike Kelly, put him in charge, Congressman Kelly, put him in charge for one day. Mike, would you say, he's right here, he's a great congressman. Would you say, Mike, that if you were in charge, you would say, oh, please, don't touch them, let them rob your store. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. You know, it'll end immediately.
Now, it's a time like this, I would love to hear from the Trump is just like us crowd. I would love to hear from the Trump for social justice crowd, and I especially want to hear from the Black Trump supporters. This your mans? Huh? This your mans? Advocating for the one violent day and the one violent hour. Because I'm just curious, where you think that violence taking place? Huh? You think they taking that violence into the suburbs? Huh? You think they taking that violence to the farms? Because I can tell you exactly who appears in all of the violence and crime footage that appears on right-wing media. We've seen all the B-roll that Fox News has. Oh, he wasn't done? There was more?
Only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country.
That is crazy and so out of character for Trump to talk bad about the disabled.
And now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
Just as they were saying that he needs to rein in all of his rhetoric, we get this. Crazy that I haven't seen this covered the way that it would have been covered in any other election said by any other candidate. And to think, we still mock Sarah Palin to this day for saying that she could see Russia from her window. Howard Dean yelled, but we got this dude advocating for one violent night and calling his opponent mentally disabled. And it just gets characterized as sharpening his rhetoric. Well, given that the media has given Trump so much coverage for just how unhinged he's actually been, naturally, his surrogates won't want to show up to have to answer. Huh? He did? We just had a whole debate where they didn't even ask J.D. Vance about it, but Byron Donalds wants to apologize for it?
Donald Trump taps into American carnage as voting gets underway across the country. And is he getting policy ideas from a B-list Hollywood movie? One day of whatever you want, I guess. It is a literal movie plot, but real life policy?
Well, it's not policy. And this is red meat for the base because they don't ask questions about, well, how would you do this and how would this work? It's just red meat, and I think it works for the base.
They don't need to care how would you do this and how would this work, because they know it's not going to be done or be worked on them.
It reminded me of The Purge first, and then it reminded me more of The Hunger Games, where the ruling class puts a bunch of people together every year and says, you guys kill each other, to show control and instill fear in an electorate, in the citizenry, if we're comparing movies. But this is real life. And this is the kind of thing that turns off the people he needs to win. People in swing states who are undecided, who want to hear policy solutions, not stuff like this.
The Purge and Hunger Games is good. The first thing I thought of was The Warriors. And the second thing I thought of was The Walking Dead. Also because they can only have one black person at a time.
I mean, but in all seriousness, Congressman, I mean, is he suggesting that cops can do whatever they want for a day and that will actually solve the problem?
No, he's not. And even the clip you just played, what is it, 5 seconds for Donald Trump, an hour speech? I think a lot of times people say, oh, well, he said this. For 5 seconds, yes, he says things that are unscripted. He goes off the cuff. He's not serious. There's no policy behind that. But I think where the American people truly are is they at least want to hear what somebody is thinking full-throated versus Kamala Harris, who is completely scripted.
So let me get this straight, Byron Donalds. How long do you have to speak to all of a sudden get the free 5 seconds where you get to later just say you weren't serious? Huh? Also, it was not 5 seconds, but I'm just curious. So if I do a 20-minute video and somebody objects to something, I could just say I wasn't serious after the fact? Or do I qualify at the 20 minutes? Like, how does the BS program work?
Like badly scripted.
I guess I wonder,
and there's nothing coming out of her.
What is the policy then? If it's not that, then what is actually the solution?
He wants to make sure that police are supported.
So let me get this straight, Byron Donalds. So your characterization of Kamala is that she is scripted, but your defense of Donald Trump is that sometimes he goes off the cuff and that's where he makes mistakes when he's not on his script.
So they're upholding the law. In every city in our country, I was in Duane Reade last night here in New York, just trying to get razor blades so I can get a fresh shave for today. That's
a lie. Why you lying, Byron? Why you lying? You know you was in there to get Beijing. You know you was in there to get Beijing. We both know it. And the reason you couldn't find it is because you bought it all. In fact, Beijing is only available in DC when Byron Donalds is in Florida. I know, because I needed something for the top.
I had to press the button for the attendant to come to open up the case just so I can get a pack of razor blades. That's what's going on in every major city of America. Americans are fed up with that kind of stuff. It happens because you do have a dereliction of support for law enforcement in too many cities in America. And so there's a major angst going on amongst the American people.
Now, so was there no shoplifting during the Trump years? Was there no shoplifting during the Trump years? Or was it that the police felt supported so they would go into the dollar store and crack heads over you stealing balloons during the Trump years? Like which one of those terrible arguments are you making right now?
Donald Trump said a comment for 5 seconds. That's not setting policy. That's revealing the angst of the American people.
That's not setting policy. That's sending a message. That's what that's doing, which, by the way, supersedes policy.
Donald Trump has a history of saying inflammatory things. It's not just those 5 seconds, Congressman, and you know that. He has a history that goes back from the time when he first ran for office, and he's talked about telling people in his rallies to knock the crap out of him. He had a history, even when I was working here at CNN, he was telling people how CNN is the enemy of the people. And you know what? A guy named Caesar Sayak sent pipe bombs to this building, or not to the other building that CNN used to be in, and tried to kill people. Donald Trump says things that get people hurt. When he talked about liberating Michigan, what happened? Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, they tried to kidnap her. There's a plot to try to kidnap her. Every time he says something that's just 5 seconds, inflammatory statements like that. What happened when we have January 6th? It's because Donald Trump opened his big mouth and wouldn't shut up. And I wish at some point, Congressman, you would at least have the courage to stand up to your dear leader and tell him when he's doing wrong.
Now, credit to you, Keith Boykin, for bringing it back into Byron Donalds' kitchen. But what you are ignoring is that he had qualified for the 5 second BS in a lot of those instances because he had talked for hours and then he gets to disavow select things after the fact based on what Byron Donalds thinks should be excused because of how long he spoke. So I know he's going to respond to you now, but I'm just telling you, that's where he's going with it.
We're going to
Don't
talk
just
about,
apologize
are we gonna
for
talk
him.
now about the rhetoric
Don't just
directed,
apologize for him.
Are we going to talk about the rhetoric directed at Donald Trump? Because we do realize that he's been trying to kill.
Are you going to continue to try not to answer the question?
Oh, the rhetoric directed at Donald Trump. Oh, you mean the accountability? The accountability. You mean holding him responsible for his words and actions? Yeah, I can get how that could feel like oppression. I get how that. Yeah, when you've been getting a free ride as long as he has, no doubt. Right, Donald Trump, just like us.
Hang on one second. Let's talk about that. Let's actually talk about rhetoric, because here's what Trump supporters have been saying.
People hear this violent, dangerous rhetoric, and we're going to have a copycat. It's coming. And it's just unfortunate. Somebody's going to get killed.
I'd say that's pretty strong evidence that the left needs to tone down the rhetoric and needs to cut this crap out. Somebody's going to get hurt by it.
It works when we see the liberal elite literally trying to take out a political opponent. Now, do they cause it? Absolutely, they contribute to it. They're complicit with it because of their words.
Where did y'all find Tim Scott from? Wow. Let me find out. Y'all must have went over the river and through the woods. Y'all went to Narnia and found Tim Scott. I ain't seen Tim Scott since that show wedding.
So according to those gentlemen there, saying that Trump is a threat to democracy is violent rhetoric, but Trump saying, let's just have one really violent day. That is not violent rhetoric?
No, he didn't say one violent day. That's
Trump
not even what he said. But let's be honest about what he actually said. Play it again.
Trump
Play it again, because he didn't even say that. But go ahead.
Can we play it again?
I want to hear it.
All these stores go out of business, right? They don't pay rent. The city doesn't have money. It's a chain of events. It's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately.
How is that not violent rhetoric?
We have to acknowledge the reality going on in every city in America.
Ooh, that's awkward. That is awkward. Credit to you, Abby, for lining him up like that. No, not like his beard. He didn't line that up. He painted that on.
Not answering the
Crime
question.
is
Not answering the question.
That is answering the question, because the reality in America, hold on, Keith, the reality in America is that crime is massively up.
Crime is not massively up. That's a lie.
You can bang the table all you want, but
you're
that's
lying,
not true.
Congressman. You're lying.
We already know that there are
the
cities
FBI just released data this week that crime is going down.
We already know that.
Oh my God! Abby, why do you let this man lie on your national television?
Look at Scott. Scott just looking around. He like, hey, I was prepared to lie for Trump, but I didn't want to be caught in this crossfire. So I'm just gonna let him fight for right now. I was gonna break it up, but I ain't getting in this. I ain't catching no strays.
Because you're lying to the American people now.
And
so I want to be respectful of what you're trying to say.
Hang on a second.
Go
If
ahead.
you would just let me talk, I will explain exactly what you want me to explain. We have the data. The FBI literally put out data today showing that crime is down this year for the first 6 months of the year. But look at the trend line. Okay, crime is down in all these different categories. And then there is a trend line that shows that crime is going down.
Now I'll say this. How would I react in this situation? Like Keith Boykin? Exactly. Like, I don't understand why there isn't more reaction like this. For you to sit there and lie to my face, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, am I here to just debate whether the sky is purple? Is that my life's work? Is that what I went to school for? Is to sit here and try and convince you the sky not purple?
Why do you continue to say that?
I do think, though, in some
I'll
ways.
let you get in, but I do want the congressman to answer that question.
If you look at crime rates in the United States since the pandemic to this current period in time, crime is up.
Okay,
over the years, crime is up. Violent crime is up.
Look at the chart.
I'm looking right now. I'm looking right now.
Crime is on its way down. It has not returned to pre-pandemic levels yet, but it is trending down. That is a fact.
I'm looking at your chart right now. 2021 is when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came into office. Look at that spike up in violent crime. What Donald Trump...
Do you see where it went after 2021?
Abby, this is important.
Now, what could there have been in 2020 that caused crime to drastically decrease and then go right back up to pre-pandemic? What could it have... What were y'all doing in 2020? Was it TikTok? No, because TikTok was here before 2020. I'm trying to figure out... Oh, man, that's crazy. 2020, what do you think of when you think of 2020? I tell you this, I got married in 2020, so I lost the freedom to do crime. That's more of a personal reflection. What happened to society in 2020? That is, man, I think it was the Lakers winning the championship. I think the Lakers won the championship. And then all of a sudden, because LeBron won the championship at 84, all of a sudden, all these guys that will otherwise be doing crime decided they were going to work on their fundamentals. You know what I mean? Decided maybe it's not too late. You know what I mean? I know I did.
This is important, but
I don't understand.
This is really important.
No, crime is going down. And
put the chart back up. Put the chart back up.
Put it back up. Crime.
Look at
where it's going.
2021, which is when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came into office in 2021.
Okay.
The trend line is up for violent crime in the United States of America.
And you know what?
That is an empirical fact.
I'm not going to sit here and let
chart.
this
It's not even mine. I just saw it for the first time. I just saw the chart.
I'm not going to sit here and let him lie on television.
But CNN will. CNN absolutely will let him sit up here on lounge. In fact, I think that's the brand at this point. And Keith Boykin, if you want to come back, you better get on board.
We have to, Congressman,
and I'm sorry,
just give me 1 second,
Abby.
please.
Go ahead, of course.
We have to deal in facts here.
Thank you.
Okay, it's clear as day. The FBI put out statistics for the first half of this year.
Yeah.
The trend lines are going down in all of those different categories: murders, rapes, robberies, property crime, aggravated assaults. For 2023, the trend line is going down. If you don't believe the FBI, independent people who look at these numbers say the same thing. There was a spike in crime during the pandemic. That is true. Nobody's disputing that. But the reality is that crime is going down. You don't have to twist the facts to make the case that people feel unsafe. Just say people feel unsafe.
I'm not even twisting the facts.
Why are you giving him that grace? Huh? Why are you giving... Call a spade a spade. He came on here to lie on your show. Why are we pretending? That's worse than him pretending that he lined up his beard. That is worse than him pretending he went into CVS looking for racists.
You put up a chart. I just looked at the chart myself. The bottom line was from 2021. Well, what happened in 2021? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came into office. This is when Democrat politicians were all the rage for defund the police.
This had nothing to do with that.
Can I finish my point? Because I let you speak. No, but you can't.
You really did not. You monopolized the entire conversation for the most part.
Keith, you yelled across the table, didn't even let me make my point. I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. You don't want to hear the truth.
You don't want to hear the truth, brother. You don't want to. Hey, brother. You don't want to hear the truth. You don't want to. Hey, Keith. I know what you need to do. You need to tag in that brother from Atlanta. That's what you need to do.
Don't forget about where you're from. Don't paint the picture. Don't tell us that we can't educate our kids on the opportunity. We're talking about vouchers. You're talking about things that's still going to cost more money.
My brother. Hold on. Calm down, though. My man, chill.
The
problem is you don't want to hear the truth.
You can't handle the truth. You and the truth been divorced when you left your first wife, Byron Donalds.
All I'm saying is similar.
I don't even know why you have him on the stage tonight.
Similar to inflation, because I'm bringing facts to you.
Because you're lying.
Because similar to inflation, in 2024, the trend lines are coming down slowly. But that ignores the reality of 2021, 2022, 2023. You know what the American people are concerned about, which Donald Trump is speaking to? Massive inflation brought to us by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
True.
It is very true. Even Larry Summers said it. You can interrupt all you want, but it's the facts. I was in the House. You were not. I know exactly what happened.
I know what you were doing in the House,
But again, I'm going to move on.
I know what you were doing in the House. You ain't talking about the House of Representatives. He ain't. He talking about the House. He ain't talking about the House of Representatives. I saw what you did, Keith Boykin. You ain't slick. I support it.
Hang tight, Keith. I'm gonna finish. You have massive inflation created by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
True.
The same chart you just put up, 2021 through 2023, crime rates going up, and then slowly tapering off in 2024. And then we're supposed to sit here and act like, oh, happy days are here again because the trend lines are going down. The trend lines over the last 4 years are massively up. That's what Donald Trump is speaking to, and that's why the American people have serious issues about what's going on in America.
But I will say this, the trend lines are not just going down, but the crime is going back to very close to what it was before the pandemic.
Now here's the problem with that, is the cleanest audio you get from that entire segment are Byron Donalds' lies. That's the problem with that. And that is why I appreciate that Keith Boykin at least tried to jump in and prevent him from being able to spew these things, because as you're just flipping the channels, you either hear Abby Phillip quietly presenting the actual record and statistics, or Byron Donalds loudly lying. And that is why I appreciate Keith being there to at least break that up a little bit. But at this point, this is what it is, and this is CNN's break. To answer Keith's question of why you let him come on here and lie like this, because that's what it is. That is what literally what the platform is. Now, I think we also discovered something else. I think they need a two-man show. I think they need a two-man show. I think that Keith should be present whenever Byron makes an appearance to just react just like a general black person would to the words that are coming out of Byron Donalds' mouth. Because he nailed it. He pretty much nailed it. And you know what? I know Keith is busy. He got a lot going on. He don't have to, he can't show up everywhere that Byron Donalds is lying. You could just hire somebody to come in from the outside. They'll react just like Keith when Byron starts talking. I guarantee you. I know I would. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I very much appreciate the support. And as I mentioned previously, we got membership now. Yes, it was something that you guys suggested, and a suggestion that I took and moved forward with. And it's something I'm really super excited about. That's going to give me the ability to give people early access to videos and ad-free experience, and also be able to record things on the go when I'm not necessarily in my perfect environment. I have something I just want to drop in real quick. I have the ability to do that. The ability to give you guys deep dive investigation pieces, some of the stuff that may not necessarily be topical, but stuff that deserves your attention. And of course, some of the uncensored content as well, because Lord knows the kind of stuff that I have to cut out of my videos can make pieces in and of themselves. Well, now I have the ability to do all of that. So sincere thank you to everybody that has joined the channel already. I can't wait to see where this goes.